How's it going, guys? Krishna here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you some ways in which you can supercharge your agency journey using AI, specifically stuff like ChatGPT, right? So, before we even get into this topic, you need to know the core elements, the core pillars surrounding your agency. So, if you're running a social media marketing agency or just an agency in general, the first element is obviously your offer and your foundation of the agency. Okay. The second is the systems behind it. The third is your service delivery. Okay. And the fourth is your client acquisition. So, the way which you get clients. The next one is your sales. And last but not the least is your hiring, right? So these are the core pillars around which your agency revolves. Now, just to get started without like any further ado or without wasting time, now if like, just coming to the first one, which is your offer and foundations, the first way in which you can just supercharge your agency especially agency journey, especially if you're in the stage of building your offer, is by leveraging stuff like ChatGPT and copy.ai, right? So softwares which help you write better copy. Now, what this allows you to do is all you need to do when you go into ChatGPT is to input your market, your target niche, basically, right? What are your clients looking for? And once you have done basic niche research, you can just copy paste that niche research into ChatGPT and give it the correct prompt into generating copies which directly hit your markets like mine, basically, right? It directly hits your niche in the most appealing way. And you can also regenerate, you can also see some certain options which will be provided to you, and then you can choose from it. You can choose it, edit the copy around the way you like it, and then release it to the market. So already, like without using softwares like ChatGPT, what you were doing was just using the data and using your own brain power to go about experimenting. But what softwares like ChatGPT allow you to do now is to create multiple copy options, which you can leverage in, let's say, your email, your cold emails, right? Your branding, your YouTube, your messages, however way you reach out to people. Let's say it could be your LinkedIn as well, right? So this is how you can create proper branding and hit your target market sentiments as well. Once you have input the correct data into these softwares, you need to realize that some of these softwares will have the potential to take away core elements from your agency, right? So instead of becoming a negative, try to look for the positive from these softwares and try to leverage them for your own use to basically just revolutionize this whole SMMA space as well. So basically, again, with like your offer, always know that instead of work, like the way which I started, it was so difficult when like I had to experiment and write the copy on my own. Even if I'm not like a native English speaker, I had to learn everything, how the sentiments across the world are, how people speak, what are the industry jargons used, right? And you have this secondary friend or secondary person who can consult you on these. Why would you not leverage it, right? So another way you can leverage the main purpose would be coming to like systems. Do not waste your time in like doing like basic customer support or like scheduling appointments, right? Or like making project timelines. All these things can now be done through AI. I have definitely leveraged AI a lot into customer support recently. I've tested it out and it has worked really, really well. It just helps you provide better solutions to your customers instead of just sitting around typing or sitting on a call with no objective and just trying to use your brain power to do so, right? So definitely, if you have clients currently, if you have clients, you're going to get some problems, people are going to have questions. You can best answer it by leveraging formats and text formats which you can take directly from ChatGPT. In the earlier days, what I used to do was just just copy paste the message sent to me by a client with an issue which I could not find the answer to, was just used to put it in ChatGPT and they would give an appropriate response, right? Even if like I've had some worse experience as well where clients wanted to leave or clients had this trouble or there was some miscommunication, how to clearly offload them or how to solve, like how to troubleshoot that issue instead of going just head into it alone. I could leverage now ChatGPT to do so as well, right? So that's the second place where you can use this. Now, coming to the third one would definitely be service delivery. Like, if you know what you're doing, if you know your way around AI and you can do it easily by just being in these communities, learning every single day, there's a lot of changes, a lot of new product releases every single week in the AI space. Like things like Dolly and ChatGPT are old news now, actually, right? So if you just get into the space, you can find new service options which you can use to craft your agency around, right? For example, a great software is called Mid Journey, right? And it generates images. It's like 10 times powerful as compared to like your doll E from like OpenAI or just any other image generative software as of now when I'm recording this. And I have seen its power like in front of me up hand, and it's crazy how many things it can do, right? So if you're specific, like especially if you're doing some sort of like a paid ads agency or you're in the creative space with your agency, if you are not leveraging softwares like Midjourney, softwares like Dolly, the new Photoshop, generative tools as well, and there's a bunch of other tools which you can leverage to create potential scenarios, potential images, which you and creatives which you can then show to your client, even if as an inspiration, if not as the final product. You can show them as certain options which they can select from. You can take inspiration from the one which they like as well, and then just create the final product. This allows you to do is deliver a much better product or service to your clients as compared to like when you were doing without these softwares, right? So now you can also present, like with softwares like Midjourney, Doll-E, you can present options to your clients which they like in the subconscious, like they did not even think of it as a solution or as a creative, right? Let's say you're working with an e-commerce brand and they want to position their product in XYZ way. You can just type these things out into like Midjourney and get certain variations of creatives and how you want to present it. You can show those back to your client. They can pick and choose which one they like and which suits their brand position better. And then you can go about leveraging that specific element, creating more copies around it, and creating a final product slash service which just helps your client and which is on point with what your client needed. And this allows you to have great customer results, client results, right? And you get good testimonials, and then it just goes as a flywheel where you can now use those testimonials to like sign bigger and better clients, right? The next element where you can use AI and softwares like ChatGPT, it would definitely be client acquisition, right? Like if you do not use AI now, you like people who are not using AI or ChatGPT to like automate their outreach will be left behind as compared to people who are, right? I have seen upfront people who are just firing their lead sources or people who write their personalized icebreakers for emails, right? Because all of those things can now be done through just simple integrations of ChatGPT on Excel sheet or like a Google sheet, right? And you do not need to pay like an additional amount to someone to someone to do that for you, right? So this will result in like cost cutting on your end when you're just starting out your agency. It's like you, instead of just sitting around trying to write all the icebreakers for your personalized cold emails or paying someone the amount to do so, now you just have this simple system where you can just generate unlimited iterations and unlimited personalized lines based on some script which you give to that core software, which in this case could be like ChatGPT or like a segment of it called like AutoGPT, right? So this is how you can just automate your outreach, and you can now personalize like your cold email, cold messages on a mass scale and reach out quicker and reach out to more clients as compared to someone else while keeping your costs low. And this gives you an upper edge as compared to other agencies who are serving the same market as you, right? The next place where you can use AI would be sales. Okay, now one way to go about, so the two main ways which I am currently using AI is number one, to just like I just input some data into like ChatGPT about what I want the sales calls to be like, what are some things which I want to, what are some things which I want to go about, and what are some things which I want to cover in my sales calls, right? And now I can give my sales call recordings to software like ChatGPT in like a script form. You can just easily use any like video to text converter, audio to text converter software to do so, right? There's one called Descript as well. And you can just provide that script to ChatGPT, and it can actually evaluate your entire sales call and give you pointers based on that, right? How did you perform? What could have been improved? What was not done as compared to the core model, right? Where did you like go away from the path, and where did you stick to the script? Where did you sound too robotic? Where did you not? You have this personal like consultant in a way, and a teacher as well, who just catches your mistakes and helps you improve better. This was not something which I had when I first started my like a social media marketing agency, right? So leverage it. If you have something and if you do not leverage it, you are the dumb one. Okay, so please go ahead. Don't be dumb. Just use these softwares and leverage it to just supercharge your agency and grow quicker as well. One last thing which I would cover, the last element or slash pillar of your business or agency would definitely be hiring. So if you're at a stage where you're hiring, now instead of like trying to do everything manually, you can actually just screen all your candidates based on the input data provided by you. So let's say you mention, hey, I want this guy to be like not entrepreneurial. I want him between this and this age range. I want him to have these skills. I want him to have this. And even when you send like a Google form to all the candidates, potential candidates, and they fill it out, now you can judge all the responses, and like your ChatGPT can now rate it as compared to like, hey, this is a better candidate. I would rate him out of like 6 out of 10. Okay, and this candidate had these qualities, and why he's a good match, why he's not a good match, and he can just do logical reasoning with you. Okay, but yeah, that's certain elements where you can use it. One last thing I would mention with hiring, specific to hiring, would be another way where like you can now just go ahead and help people like qualify as well. So when you're on these hiring sessions, when you're on these hiring interviews, right, you can, while the person is speaking, you can take out pointers from that even in the final interview, input them into ChatGPT, and let's say you're left with three main candidates which you're thinking between who should be a good choice to become your media buyer, right? Then you can actually input what all you need from a media buyer, okay, and or you can take notes from the final interviews or just convert them into scripts. Okay, you can input it into the software, which would be ChatGPT, right? And you can actually get individual responses and like a appraisal of all three people as to how did they perform on the call and who sounded better, who could perform better as well, right? But yeah, hope this makes sense. These are just some ways in which you can leverage AI, specifically like consumer tools which are currently available like ChatGPT, Midjourney, to supercharge your agency. And like, do not be left behind, because this is the only way you can survive with your agency in future. Because if you are not doing these things, someone else in the market who's a competitor of yours will be, and will obviously grow faster than you, because he is automating the tasks which are just redundant and getting better advice from ChatGPT, iterating quicker, improving quicker, and just overall performing better. But yeah, hope this makes sense. Hope this video gave you some clarity and some ideas as to how you can leverage ChatGPT and like softwares like companies like OpenAI, products from companies like OpenAI, and just AI in general to revolutionize this agency game for yourself as well. That's basically it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.